on this video for a very long time, and I've reworked it too many times because I noticed I was being very verbose and I was over-explaining everything. My general feelings are that most people probably just want to see the key factors to winning a game on a specific champion, like what do you need to do and what do you need to remember, keep in mind to play a matchup, maybe not a specific matchup into this champion, but a general overview that will help you against any matchup, the strengths and weaknesses of a champion. And then in the video afterwards, you can kind of see examples of that. So I'm going to try to keep everything a bit more brief. Now I'm redoing the video, hoping to be less verbose. But if I ramble on, I apologize. We'll start with the abilities, and then I'll jump into the practice tool and just show you how I play out the early levels. And then I'll go over some of the basics in team fighting, and I'll tell you the pretty much standard way that Kaisa builds now. You'll also get a section with the standard ruins that Kaisa has been taking in patch 10.12. And these things can all change, but for the most part they stay the same. And finally, the end of the video will just be an example of my gameplay with some keyboard clacks mic'd for you guys. So I hope you enjoy the video and leave feedback about which parts you like, if you have any in particular, so that way I know what to make more of. Otherwise, I'll just keep going on with the same old. And again, I apologize if I ramble a little too much. But let's go ahead and show you her ruins first. I forgot to mention, Kaisa has several different ruin pages she can run, but currently in patch 10.12, the most popular and probably the most effective for her laning phase, as well as for the item build that most people will go, is to run Hella Blades. So Hella Blades is the keystone you want to take, and we'll talk about why once we get into the abilities. But just for the sake of ease, I thought I'd show you guys the ruin page you would take on Kaisa to maximize your damage early, and it also helps with keeping yourself relevant in the game. Alright, here we are. So, Kaisa being played in the bot lane, I'll focus on what abilities you should learn first, but let's quickly go over her abilities. So her passive is called Second Skin. Kaisa's basic attacks stack Plasma for 4 seconds and deal bonus magic damage. Kaisa's attacks detonate Plasma at 4 stacks, dealing bonus damage equal to 15% of the target's missing health. So it's an execute of sorts. Allies' immobilizing effects on champions also add 1 stack of Plasma. This means that she gets extra stacks of Plasma from stuns, roots, snares, and knockups. Suppressions as well. The second part is called Living Weapon. Kaisa's suit adapts to her choices, evolving her abilities based on permanent stats from items and champion levels. Okay, so what that really means is each of her abilities can be evolved, but it takes a threshold of some stat to evolve it. So for Q, the threshold is 100 bonus attack damage. For W, the threshold is 100 ability power. And for the E, the threshold is 100 attack speed. You just have to remember, E is the attack speed one, W is the ability power one, and Q is the attack damage one. So by the end of the game, you will actually evolve all 3 of these abilities with the standard build that Kaisa runs, and I'll show you that later. Kaisa's Q is called a Cathian Rain. Kaisa launches 6 missiles that split among nearby enemies, each dealing physical damage. Additional hits on a champion or monster deal 25% damage. So, I'm sorry, don't do, they deal only 25% of the damage to, on subsequent hits. So, this is always the first ability that you're going to learn on Kaisa. And it's really good for trading, but just to show you what it looks like, if it's a single target, everything will hit it. If there are multiple targets, it hits them all. So you can see that it actually will hit up to 6 different things. That's why some of them took 2 hits and took a little extra damage. The 59 ones both took 2. And there's no deciding which will hit more. So if there's a champion and minions, it'll randomly select 6 targets and hit them. It's a pretty simple ability though, huh? Alright. For her W is called Void Seeker. Kaisa fires a Void Blast that grants true sight on the first enemy hit and triggers 2 stacks of plasma, dealing magic damage based on the target's stacks. So that means her passive will create stacks when she autos things, right? If you don't have vision, you can gain vision. And it puts 2 stacks, you see, 1, 2 there. Now, it'll do more damage. It did at 136 damage there. Let's see if we can see how much damage it does with 2 auto attacks. Okay, the stacks wore off too quickly there. I have to go a little faster. Okay, it did 145 damage, so it does a little more, and it also got him up to full stacks. So to be clear, when I say full stacks, I mean 4 auto attacks, 2, 3, 4. Now it's at full stacks. Whenever you hit him again, the 5th one will consume the stacks and do extra damage. That's what the passive is. E is called Supercharge. Kaisa spends 1.12 seconds supercharging her void energy. She gains 59 movement speed during the charge and 40% attack speed for 4 seconds when charged. So it's a little steroid. But when she's doing it, she can't attack. Like, can't do anything. But after she's done, she can. Another thing to note is she can't use abilities while supercharging. You can use them right afterwards. So if you want to quickly use a Q, you should do it first and then supercharge. Because if you supercharge, you can't Q until after you're done. Alright, so there's that little build-up time, that 1.12 seconds of charging. Her ultimate is called Killer Instinct, and it allows her to warp herself to an enemy champion affected by plasma, gaining a shield that absorbs some damage. So once you've learned her ability, anytime you attack somebody or if somebody applies a plasma stack, that means any sort of Earth CC, then you can ultimate to an area around that enemy. See, this is the area. You can only do it once. I just have the cooldowns off. So it's not a damaging ability, but it has a pretty long range. Once you get to 11, like at level 6, it's just this. But it's pretty good, right? And since this ability hits all targets, it can be used to position yourself. Let's say you just want to hit this person here. If you want to maximize your damage, then you want your Q to hit that so you can reposition yourself. Okay, that wasn't a good example. I'll do it again. You can reposition yourself so that your Q only hits that target. Alright, so those are all her abilities. The upgraded Q just gives it more missiles from 6 to 12. The upgraded W causes it to add 3 plasma stacks instead of 2, and it refunds 70% of the cooldown when you hit somebody. And the upgraded E will make her invisible for a short duration. That actually is important to see. Oops. Let's just buy some. Let's buy some stuff so you can see what I mean. Okay, so I've just upgraded everything. Now her Q does 12. Her W will apply 3 stacks instead of 2. See, 1, 2, 3. And it also refunds the cooldown. So this is the cooldown. See how it went from 18 to like 5? So you can like spam this ability if you hit a champion with it. And then the E makes her invisible for a short duration. So it's like useful to go and just make yourself invisible for a moment. Alright, and that pretty much covers all of her abilities. Alright, let's go over Kaisa's level 1. First ability you want to learn is Acathian Rain. And you want to take Doran's Blade because it starts to give you progress towards your Acathian Rain upgrade. What the general pattern is for Kaisa and for all ADCs is that when you go to last hit and minion, the enemies will try to trade damage onto you. They know you're going to last hit because you want to get the gold. But if you also apply that same principle to when they are trying to get last hits on a minion, you can use that time to trade with the enemy. Now, since Kaisa goes Hail of Blades, you can get 3 auto attacks quite quickly. Level 1, it's 1, 2, 3. That's very fast for a level 1 auto attack speed. So, let me get these minions out of here. So, you can actually trade 3 auto attacks in 2 different points. One is when they come forward to get an auto attack on a minion. They go to last hit, and what you do is right as they're going to last hit, you 1, 2, 3, and a Q. And you've done a good chunk of damage. I added some armor and magic resist to the dummy as well. So that 266 is an accurate display of damage that you'll do if you get all 3 autos and a Q off. The other time to do it, and this is one that's less expected, is when you go to last hit a minion. Oftentimes they'll come forward to trade on you. They'll try to auto attack you whenever you're going to last hit. So you walk forward to last hit your minion, but instead of last hitting your minion, you attack them and you press Q. Your Q will hit both the enemy champion and it will also kill the minion for you, so you're not losing out on CS. So both when they go to last hit, you trade, and whenever you're going to last hit, if they come forward to trade on you, you just attack them instead. Now, as soon as you hit level 2, you have 2 options, right? You can take your increased attack speed and movement speed, or you can take your flat damage and apply stacks. This ability is the best for trading heavily if you're trying to get a kill on lane. And it's also the best to apply as many stacks because your 5-stack passive will do a ton of damage. Also, if you have a support who can help apply stacks with some kind of immobilizing effect, then you really stand a good chance at getting a kill. So, just as an example, that same trade that I just talked about with a W looks like this. Wow, look at the damage. 424. And again, the armor and magic resist is pretty accurate. They have 30. I'll just give him 40 for good measure. And we'll do it again. Alright, 380. And I also missed an auto, but that's or I didn't miss an auto, but I just timed it weird. So it's a good thing to trade early with your W and Q. Kind of like in other videos I told you, when do you decide to trade and when don't you? With Kaisa, if you can land your W, you stand a good chance at getting her passive plasma stack procs. So I would love to trade if I can almost guarantee that I get a W. That puts her in a good position to play with supports like a Morgana, a Lux, a Nautilus is very popular, a Blitzcrank, a Thresh, people who can lock a target down, so that all you have to do is aim your W at them. And you know, it will hit minions, so you have to angle yourself in a way that you can hit them. Sometimes that means just, you know, if an Nautilus hits the enemy target with a Q, you walk forward and you just do it point blank. So you can, in a trade where you have a heavy CC support, you can get your plasma stacks procced 2 times in one trade, and oftentimes that'll be enough to kill the enemy. The first time they'll probably flash or heal or both, and the second time they're going to use the other summoner, but it might be enough for you to flash and secure the kill. Now you can always learn Supercharge as your second ability. It's not bad. It's also good against the same champions I was just mentioning for avoiding the lockdown, for avoiding Morgana Q, Lux Q, and Nautilus Q. But if you want to trade more heavily, I would suggest W, her Void Seeker. Again, try not to trade too heavily, like don't sit around here and wait for the best opportunity if you're never going to land your W. Or if you use your W, let's say you go to trade, right? And you start off by whiffing your W, maybe just get your autos in and then back out. Don't stick around too long because ultimately this is a large chunk of your damage. Alright, so that pretty much covers the early levels for Kaisa, and it doesn't change at all when we're talking about her, you know, all the way up to level 5 or 6 even. The only difference is when you hit level 6, you have the mobility. So, you know, you can start a fight any way you like to. I prefer to use my ultimate to reposition after a fight is started. I don't like to use my ultimate at the beginning of a fight unless I know I can secure the kill. But in most cases, you know, in a landing phase, you're going to be trading back and forth, and you use your ultimate to secure the kill. You come in, maybe you start off with your E, and then you can secure the kill this way. And whenever you're fighting in a team fight, it's not much different, right? You're still trying to just put all your damage on one person. So the only thing to be aware of is that your Q, as I showed you in the abilities demo, is it'll hit multiple people. So if you would rather not do the 104 damage to each target like here, then let's say you got some CC or you auto-attack that last person, you can always angle yourself in a spot where you can do most of your damage to one target. Reposition yourself as often as you can, whether it's with using your E to move away, or if it's using your R to get behind on this side, you know. Always reposition yourself in a way that will allow your Akathian Rain to single out your target. If there are minions, you also have to be wary of those because it'll hit minions as well. So sometimes, you know, if I'm in the beginning of a fight, I don't really save it, but if I know there's a chance for me to get single target damage, I will wait. In a landing phase and team fights are exactly the same that way. You just want to position yourself like an ADC in a really good way to keep yourself safe, but at the same time be able to do some damage to the front line. Then when your opportunity arises, you fly in to the back line and do your damage to a priority target. That's almost always how it is with any ADC, but with Kaisa especially because of her, massive mobility with her ultimate. And like I said, I'm trying not to be that verbose, but that's pretty much it. Just position yourself in a good way. Use your R and your E to position yourself in a way that your Q damage will be only hitting one thing instead of a whole variety of things. And you can use it for safety, and you can also use it offensively. And that's pretty much it. If somebody's coming to gank you and you want to do something cheeky, here's what I'll do sometimes. I might auto them and then run away, and then I'll R to the other side. So I get their attention to follow me up, and then I R to the other side. Sometimes I'll save my E too. If I'm really in a pickle, I might auto R flash E anyway. If you're really in a pickle, you can just get out that way. So use your ultimate in the best way possible. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I have my ultimate, let me just fly way in here and like hit their whole team. That's great, but you have to be safe, right? So you save it when you know you can secure a kill, or whenever, if let's say like they have a Garen who's running at you, you need to just run until his Q's down, and then you can fight him. Or the option is, let's say this is more common once you're higher level, because a level 2 ultimate, let's say you hit the back line with a spell, but they're chasing you. You're like watching them chase you. You can let them chase you the whole way, and then at the opportune moment, you fly back across. That positions you in a spot where you can do damage. Meanwhile, they're down here because they had just chased you all the way down there. So that's it. Those are all the tricks I'm gonna talk about, and you guys can kind of pick up on the rest. The items that people will build in almost always this order are first Manamune, or Manamune, I don't know, Gunzo's Rageblade, Berserker's Greaves, and Nashor's Tooth. First item of Nashor's Tooth is Stinger, and then finishing it. Once you do that, if you get all these items after getting Manamune and a pickaxe from Gunzo's Rageblade, you'll get your Q evolution. After getting your Berserker Greaves and the Sting portion of Nashor's Tooth, you'll learn your E evolution. And after you finish Nashor's Tooth, you'll get your W evolution. So, that is almost always what people will be going on Kaisa. It gives her some high damage once her Manamune is stacked. It gives her a lot of, it gives her some cooldown reduction with Nashor's Tooth, and it gives her a lot of attack speed. It gives her everything she needs to upgrade her abilities and to be super powerful. After that, there's some deviation about what you can do, but you can always play it by ear, right? If you have, if they have a lot of AD targets or assassins, you can build Azanias. That's a popular choice. So that's a little extra protection for yourself. If there are a lot of tanks and you want even more ways to cut through, you can build a Ronin's Hurricane and either armor or penetration, or I haven't seen this a ton, but some people get a Blade of the Ruin King, right? So if they're like all bruisers and tanks, Blade of the Ruin King is an important ability. And if you are lacking some AP damage, then you can always just go for a full AP build, like let's say Rabadon's Death Cap. And another popular AP item to go with that is either Luden's Echo if you're looking for that saw that I thought was pretty unique and cool was Hextech Gunblade, because it provided some really cool life regeneration. So I'll show you what I mean. Here's my health right now, right? Look at that. So, like, having a Hextech Gunblade is like the way to get lifesteal, spell vamp, and stay healthy if you're going an AP build. If you need the same thing for an AD build, obviously you wouldn't go Hextech. You would go Bloodthirster or Blade of the Ruin King, one or the other. But Bloodthirster is a common one. And Infinity Edge, if they have a kind of mix between mages and ADs, this is a popular build then. Just staying high DPS, really overloading your Q's damage. You know, one of these, if it singles out, can do a ton of damage. I'm at level 11 with 60 armor, so let's put 60 armor on this just to see, just a Q. Almost does 600 damage. So you're not even attacking yet. You can see there's a lot of different ways to build after the first 3 or 4 core items, but just remember the order that she builds is almost always Mana Immunity first, then the pickaxe, then finish Gunsos, then finish Berserker Graves, then Sting, then finish Nash's Tooth. After that, you're free to do whatever you want. But I think Kaisa, even though she has all these different ways to build, this is the strongest way to build her, so it's kind of easy. You don't have to worry about what kind of team you're playing against unless they have massive healing. That's the only situation where you need to throw in a Executioner's Calling. Otherwise, you won't be able to deal with the healing. Like if they have a Soraka, or if they have a Vladimir, any champion like that who heals a lot. Aatrox. Okay, so there's the itemizations on Kaisa. You guys get out of team fight. You understand how to maximize damage. You know how to play some tricks on people by letting them chase you and then switching sides of the fight. And with that knowledge, you can basically carry any game on Kaisa. You just need to play every game with a slow ramp up to the end. And if you get 1 or 2 kills, you really start to snowball. And honestly, Kaisa, I think she's a great champion to main for that reason. She can be used in almost any scenario. So whether they have massive amount of tanks, Kaisa's the champion. If they're all mages, Kaisa's a good champion for that. If they have a good mix of AD and AP, Kaisa's suitable. What if they're all assassins? Kaisa's a good champion against assassins. So like she doesn't have any huge weaknesses or any overwhelming strengths in lane, but when played with a good support who has hard CC, she can start to take over games. And that's why I suggest you pick up Kaisa and give her a shot. So that's enough for me. I think I've still been a little too wordy tonight, but hopefully you guys get the point. I hope you all have a wonderful night and learned a little from this video, or even better, if you just fell right asleep, that would also, make me happy as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you next time on the Rift. Good night.